Yes, sir.
I'm ready.
I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. May we have roll call, please?
Mayor Harden,
Present.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Here.
Commissioner Warren,
Here.
Commissioner Lindbroker,
Here.
Commissioner Segrist.
Present.
Thank you.
Quorum.
May we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have the invocation, please? Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening. I guess this is where we're supposed to come.
Yes, sir.
Let's pray. God, as we come today, we look at a nation, God, that is torn, God, but made liberal. Be a light unto the nations as we make the effort to stand united, God, and to make decisions that are best for all citizens. God, we just thank you for this commission. May you bless them with wisdom and knowledge to make the right decisions. What would be your decisions, God? Lord, just we thank you for this community, and God, just continue to bless it. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kevin. We do not have any awards, proclamations, or presentations for this meeting. We'll move on to approval of the agenda. We do have an amendment to make for item number 7. The date for item number 7 should read January 26th instead of January 19th. May we have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with the correction on item 7 to January 26th instead of January 19th.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Segrist to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Moving on to the approval of the January 12th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
I move we approve the January 12th, 2021 regular meeting minutes as printed.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Segrist, a second by Commissioner Linnenbroker to approve the January 12th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Moving on to the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Who's claiming the second?
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion by Commissioner Warren. We have a second by Commissioner Segrist to approve the consent agenda as printed. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Moving on to item number 5, the Arcalan grazing lease. Good evening.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Dallas Ryan with the Building Department, I also manage Arcalan Park. The original Arcalan grazing lease that you all looked at last meeting had a typo that I'd missed. It should have said, it said $25 per cow-calf pair. It should have been $20 per cow-calf pair.
We probably just need a motion to rescind the previous agreement and then get that passed and then adopt and approve this as printed.
I'll make a motion that we rescind the previous resolution, you say?
It was a great lease.
Lease, okay, lease.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Commissioner Segrist to rescind the previous lease. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Now we need a motion to approve the new lease with the newly stated information.
I'll make a motion that we approve the new lease with the corrected information.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Vice Mayor Martinez to approve the newly amended lease for Arcalan grazing. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Thank you very much, Dallas. Moving on to item number 6, resolution number 2348.
I move we approve resolution number 2348.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Segrist, a second by Commissioner Warren to approve resolution number 2348. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. And to clarify for the public, I believe the second round of 2348 is going to last for 45 days before it will have to be discussed again on the commission floor. Moving on to item number 7, we have resolution number 2347, a resolution authorizing the submittal of the Bureau of Justice Assistance Adult Drug Court Grant. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
I see Jason here with you.
Jason is, if you have questions.
Okay.
I'm heading over here in the corner. I just didn't want you to see me.
Oh,
Judge
I'm
Maxwell,
sorry.
it's always a pleasure to have you with us.
This grant that we're applying for is for up to $500,000. We don't have the specific numbers yet, but we will be applying, it will probably be the whole amount. So just requesting permission to apply for that and letting you know that there will be matching funds, and that'll be $125,000.
Matching funds from us.
Yeah, it is, the special.
Okay.
Alcohol tax.
Yep, okay, yep.
And that will cover it for, 4 years that we are gonna request the grant for, so it'll be a 4-year grant.
Perfect. Do we need separate motions for the submittal of the application and the approval of the resolution, or can we lump that into one?
I think you can just pass the resolution, which gives the authority to submit the application.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2347, authorizing submittal of the Bureau of Justice Assistance with Adult Drug Court Grant.
Second.
Have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, a second by Commissioner Linnebroker, to approve resolution number 2347, approving the submittance of the application and authorization to execute grant documents. And because I did not include this on items number 6 and 5, is there any discussion on the issue?
Does any of this money go to Haven House?
That's a Jason question.
It's not scheduled to do that. Do you want me to come up and?
Absolutely, Jim.
Yeah, you can
Go
tell
ahead.
us a little bit about it.
This is the one time I feel comfortable in front of you.
The grant will cover a number of things. One of those, I don't think, when you're talking about the Haven House, I think you mean the Oxford House.
Yes.
It's not designed to address that, although there will be a component that would address transitional housing. We're working right now, we're working with the Southwest Guidance Center to actually help us with this. They have a person that is, their sole job is to help people apply for and get assistance. And we found that the people that, especially when you start somebody out in drug court, they're going to need some assistance. A lot of them they have no jobs, they have no identification, and we're trying to get them started. So there will be some transitional housing that will be requested, but it's not designed to give money directly to the Haven House, if that answers your question.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions for Judge Maxwell? Any other discussion on the topic? All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Thank you guys very much. Moving on to agenda item number 8, the CDBG CV business application.
I have received an application from M Builders for CDBG funds, and they do qualify. They have 4 LMI positions at their business. And according to CDBG, they qualify for $25,000 per job up to $30,000.
Is LMI low to moderate income? Is that what that
Yes, low to
means?
moderate income individuals that work
And you're saying that the employees are low to moderate income?
there. Yes, more than half of the employees are low to moderate income.
Which would be like most construction companies probably, right? So, but the construction business wasn't closed down during the pandemic. They weren't sent home like, I know we did grants for salons and places like that. And I was looking at this and I think it opens a can of worms. Every construction company in town could probably argue that they're entitled to funds if we start giving them to one construction company.
Yeah.
Because I know for one, we were never told we couldn't work, so I feel the same about them, that, it doesn't matter who it is, that they were entitled to go out and bid their jobs and get their jobs and do their jobs, so it doesn't see that to me that it fits in the COVID deal, so that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
I had looked for a contractor and it was tough to find somebody, so that.
There was plenty of work then,
There
what
was
you're
work.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so.
But
Maybe we need some more information on this, I don't know. But,
I was gonna say, you guys could always make a motion that we table the item for the next meeting, pending that we request more information from the business to be able to show that there was a significant loss during COVID. Or you guys can vote to kill it on the floor or approve.
I'll make a motion to kill it. To deny it.
I'll second that, cause I don't believe there was work out there, I feel like, I don't know.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Vice Mayor Martinez. And how would I word this properly, Lynn?
To deny the CDBG
Okay.
grant request.
To deny the CDBG-CV grant request. Is there any more discussion on the topic?
Only thing I'd like to say, I would be more acceptable to like healthcare workers and stuff like that if they had different programs, or if we have money that we need to give away, or even firemen, police jobs, even city staff that had to work through this, people that had to suffer through the deal, not people that had the opportunity to work. Healthcare, even if they worked and got paid, I think they should have got paid additional. Same with the city, police, firemen. That's my opinion, a better use of the money. But
Definitely appreciate the dialogue. All in favor of denying the business application request? Vote passes 4 with a no vote by Commissioner Lindenbrook.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
Karen.
Karen. Moving on to item number 9, the Second Street bid.
Gary Geist here. Oh, I guess I'll have to carry this. Okay, you all know we have talked about replacing Second Street for some time. We got the water line is new from Kansas all the way down to Western now. And what we did is, it was kind of a complicated bid. We had what we called the base bid, which included the entire project, the drainage, redoing the street from Kansas all the way to Western. And then we had it broke into 3 phases. And I had Chris double check my numbers, but staff is recommending that we go with the base bid of $4,154,177.67. If you add up, if we do it in phases, it adds up to about $1 million more if you do it in the phases. And that's why we always say, if the bigger the project we can do, the better we can, the more bang we get for our buck.
So what will this cover then, all 3 phases then?
Yeah, this'll
Do it all in one fell swoop.
all in one fell swoop. But it's a 410 days to completion. I have talked to Chris. We don't have the 4.2 right now, but we're scheduled to dump another $1 million into this project for 21. So we'd only be like 300,000 short. But in the meantime, we're gonna be collecting, and Chris says if we need to, we can take that 300,000 out of the capital streets and drainage, And so financially, we can cover it. It's a big chunk. You can sit there, well, let's do $1 million here, do $1 million here, but when it adds up to $1 million more, I can't in good faith sit there and say, we need to do it this way. I would recommend that we spend
I like the idea of getting it over with and the people's inconveniences.
and this will also take that drainage of Clay and Second and reroute it from, Roosevelt down to Prospect, and then drain it into Frog Pond, which will take a lot of the burden off of Can Creek there. And where that inlet is at Second and Clay that usually puts out water, instead of taking water in, that water, instead of flooding Second and Clay, will now run down to Frog Pond.
Now, what is the strategy when it comes to the way they're going to roll this out? Are they still, even though we're going to be doing it all as one project if we go with this approach?
It'll still be done in phases.
Yeah, so are they planning on still kind of sticking to the original plan of Clay to Main and then Clay to Western?
We'll discuss that in the pre-con.
Okay.
And then I can give you better, because until the bid's awarded, we don't have a pre-con.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's another thing that in your discussion, you hate to start in the middle, but drainage is our biggest issue. So myself, I would recommend, now Pete might tell me I'm crazy, we need to start at this end and go that way, or start at that end and come this way. But
Well, school buddy Tony Wisnat needs to be here, because he's been on us about that.
Yeah, they'll be tickled pink that we're
Yeah.
finally gonna adjust that
They'll be
drainage
happy.
over there.
Yeah,
yeah.
that Clay Street drain.
Is there any more discussion on the project? We have a motion to accept a bid.
How do we gotta say this?
That's all right.
So,
Instead of from
Just
Yeah,
three
but-
phases to one phase until
Boats, I'm sorry.
400
It would
some
be from
days.
Boats,
yeah.
Varga Construction.
Yeah, it's gonna be from the
See,
Votes,
there's
Parker
phase.
Construction LLC in the amount of, $4,154,177.67. And I would assume that the motion just needs to be to approve, the bid for the reconstruction of Second Street and doesn't need to include that it's going to all be one phase. Is that correct?
I'll make the motion, we approve the bid from this, I don't know what the name of it was again.
Is it Vox
Vox?
Parga?
Votes, I think.
Voxt Parga.
And they were the low bid.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
and actually, they are also the construction company that did the Pine from Pancake, that loop around Pine.
Okay.
So we do have an example of their work.
Do we need the amount?
And then, yes, please.
Yes, please.
And it was what was the amount?
It is, it's gonna be on the second page of your bid sheet, is the easiest place to see it. It's gonna be right there.
Okay. 4 million.
Actually, sorry, that's phase one of it.
Yeah, it's the 4 million number.
It would be on the,
4,154,000.
should be on the second page.
Yeah. So the number I think you're looking at is the base bid total.
4,154,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make the motion, we accept the bid of $4,154,177.63 from this, Pargs Construction LLC. Guess that's it.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez and a second by Commissioner Segrist to approve the Second Street reconstruction bid for Voxt Parga Construction LLC in the amount of $4,154,177.63. Is there any more discussion on the item? All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Moving on to agenda item number 10, we have the Adventure Bay taking over Southwest Aquatic Team.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Matt.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Here before you tonight to discuss possible takeover of the SWAT Aquatics team joining the Liberal Rec Department. They approached us a couple months ago about helping them out. They're really struggling with coaches and volunteers. Board members have been falling off quite a bit. This is a great program that has been a feeder program for Adventure Bay staff. So a lot of our lifeguards that we have now went through this program as kids, which teaches you the lessons of strokes and how to hold your breath. And so these kids are, by the time they're becoming lifeguards at Adventure Bay, they already are trained. So this has helped us out in the long run on our certification of lifeguards. So we feel as a staff that this is a huge, huge program that we cannot lose as a community. So I come before you guys tonight to see and excuse me, and mention that possibility of us taking over the SWAT program.
Now, what will this, how will we pay, or what do we need to do this? They're gonna use the pool we're gonna
No, we're
acquire?
still going to have to work with the Seward County Community College, their indoor pool, because this is a program that goes year-round.
Oh, okay.
So they go usually in a couple meets a year, Ulysses, Garden City. So it's a year-long program, but people can opt in and out, depending on the season.
I know my daughter was on the swim team, and then she went on to be a lifeguard at that little pool, and that's Seward
okay,
County,
yeah.
so it's a good program to, even gets college kids some money to make while they're
Yeah,
in school.
all the funding, everything would go through the rec department. We'd pay the coaches and the assistant coaches from the budget, from Adventure Bay budget, and we'd work off that. So there is a price to join the team, and it would cover the cost of those coaches.
So it doesn't in the long run, you run it through you, or in the long run, it doesn't cost the city money is what you're saying? or it
Right,
might,
balances
but-
out off of
Okay.
their entry fees.
Okay.
Or if it doesn't, it should be minimal loss.
Yeah.
Right.
I think if you look at the last page, there's kind of a cost breakdown,
Mhm.
Yeah.
an estimated cost breakdown.
Well, I'd like to make the motion, we accept Adventure Bay taking over Southwest Aquatics team, or SWAT. So,
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez and a second by Commissioner Segrist to approve Adventure Bay Water Park taking over the SWAT program. Is there any more discussion on the item? All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. And Matt, looks like we're going to keep you comfortable up here. Item
Right
number
on.
11 is the McRae Pool.
Okay, in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, you have got a list of assets that McRae Community Pool is wanting to donate to the city of Liberal. So I ask that you guys look it over and accept the donations from the community pool.
I move we accept the McRae Pool assets as listed on item number 11
Second.
in our packet.
No, second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Segrist, a second by Commissioner Warren to accept the donation of all the equipment from the McRae Pool. Is there any more discussion on the item?
Just to advise you on that 4800, their filter and their chlorinator's kinda in bad shape. Matt has looked at replacing it with a TR-140 commercial sand filter, I don't know, and then possibly change the chlorination because it is such a smaller pool to a salt generator. And we're still doing research. I've talked to Jeff Parsons. Jeff Parsons gave me a contact to get a hold of because Jeff's pool, and he loves it that way. It's, you know, you still have to check your pH and your chlorine, but basically all we have to do is occasionally shock it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
And so
Sounds excellent.
that would, we've kind of got a home for that $4,800 to make some of the necessary stuff right up front.
that's a good deal.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah.
All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Moving on to agenda item number 12, replacement of filtration tanks at the Adventure Bay Water Park.
Now, I know it's snowing outside, but we gotta be in front of the ball here. And if it wasn't for Kyle calling me a couple weeks ago, I probably forgot that also. But in front of you, we've had some issues at the bay over the last couple of years. Our water tanks on the lap pool have been leaking quite a bit, and we've pretty much been putting Band-Aids on them. And the welders have been doing a great job, but it seems as when they weld a spot, another spot on the other side of the tank will bust. And that's shutting down the lap pool motors, so there's no chlorine going through these pools for the time being until they get the job patched up and everything. So in front of you, we put it out. We're looking at 2 filters connected to the lap pool. These also have all the units with it, carbon steel, the fittings. This comes with the rock, the flanges, the butterfly valves. There's a bells and whistles. The big thing, a 15-year warranty. A lot of these places, we're only going 5 to 10-year warranties. So this place out of Sterling, Kansas is a 15-year warranty.
How long have the filters that you have been there?
They are over 20 years old.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
eventually, the other ones will have to be replaced also.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that we kind of discovered part of the issues on these may have been an in-house issue with not maintaining the proper gauges and proper training, is they were actually backwashing more than they needed to. Well, whenever you backwash, that swirls that sand and water around, and we all know what sand's very abrasive. So we may, but I mean, it's 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's one of them deals, you build it and you gotta maintain it, it's time to do
Yes.
some maintenance, you know.
Is this a budgeted item?
This is I believe coming out of the 1 cent. Chris, help me out here,
Out
sorry.
of the 1 cent streets drainage and other capital improvements is where we budgeted for this.
Yeah, we knew this was coming.
I'll make a motion that we replace the filtration tanks at Adventure Bay Parks in the amount of $31,756 with United Industries.
I'll second that. We have a motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Mayor Harden, to approve the purchase of the New filtration tanks in the cost of $31,756 to come from United Industries. Is there any more discussion on the item?
Matt, I had a question. On the warranty, do you guys, every day that's in use, are you guys taking and testing that water that's within there, or will you be?
Yes, we
Okay.
test, I believe, every hour or every hour and a half.
All right, and then those records are maintained for?
Yes. And we've got to send that in. So if we do have an issue, we have to show our records.
Right. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Actually, our chlorinator system, the electronic, I think we've got it fine tuned. It actually records the chlorine on a regular basis. So the only thing we really have to monitor is the pH.
Fantastic. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? Vote passes 5-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Agenda item number 13, the purchase of 2 new pickups, Liberal Water Department. Good evening, Jose.
Okay, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Jose with the Water Department, and I'm here today seeking approval to purchase 2 pickups, which are replacing 2 older models. The 1-ton will be used to pull the Maniacs, and the half-ton will go to our fleet. The truck will replace US 26 and 128, which is 2 of the older trucks. They're almost at, well, one of them's over 200,000 miles. The trucks are budgeted for this year. We are recommending going with Chrysler Corner, as they were the lowest bid on both trucks. And you should have the paper on amount.
And Jose, thank you very much for the way you prepared this. I love being able to see the bids separated from all the different vendors that bid in on the front page, so thank you very much for that.
So your recommendation, should we get a 1-tons, that way we can pull what we need to pull? And a half-ton? Oh, okay, I see 1 ton and a half-ton, so.
So the 1-ton is a gas motor then, also then,
Yeah,
right?
both of them are gas.
Yeah, diesel would probably been about 10,000 higher probably, huh?
Just to clarify, we did review the state of Kansas purchase contract, and it does compare favorably with these prices. Except for the 1-ton, I was not able to locate a 1-ton. I could find a 3/4, but not a 1-ton. And I think the 3/4 was only for the Kansas Highway Patrol, I believe, so. But just to clarify, we did check the state purchase contract.
Fantastic.
I'm not even interested in the state stuff, because these are local, pay taxes here, have employees here, so we gotta give them the
Yeah.
heads up. So.
Is there any more discussion on the item? Do we have a motion?
And this was was it budgeted? We had it in our budget, so that's a no-brainer. I'll make a motion that we purchase a 1-ton pickup from Chrysler Corner in the amount of $29,715, and a half-ton from Chrysler Corner in the amount of $20,446.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, a second by Commissioner Segrist, to approve the purchase of a 1-ton pickup in the amount of $29,715, and also a half-ton pickup in the amount of $20,446, both to be purchased from Chrysler Corner for the Liberal Water Department. All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Thank you very much, Jose.
Thanks.
Moving on to item number 14, we have the inflatable firehouse. Good evening, Cody.
Good evening,
Inflatable
Mayor,
fire.
Commissioners. Something I never thought I would stand in front of a commission and ask for. But we are here to ask today for a bounce house for the fire department. This will replace our current smokehouse that we have. It's on a trailer. It's a big building built on a trailer. It's been a great tool for us. This is gonna give us so many more options that we've never even thought about having for our fire prevention program. This is gonna be awesome. I'm excited about it. All of us at the fire department are nothing but big kids anyways, so I'm sure we'll find a way to make this work out very well for us. The trailer and building will stay within the city. I think from what I've been told, the building is gonna be an office at our Kalen, and the trailer could potentially be used to put a water tank on to haul water to our Kalen. That right now, we found out the other day that County Fire is hauling water for them right now, so it'd be nice if they could haul their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Karen has been working, you say 2 years? 2 years on this project. We got an email about it. I believe Skeety got the email, gave it to me, and he said, well, we'll just give it to Karen and see if there's any chance this could ever happen. Well, it did. 2 years later, here we are, asking permission to buy a inflatable firehouse from Boulder Blimp Company for the price of $9,100. They are the only ones I found that make this, so that's why there are no other bids.
Proprietary product. Yeah.
So do you walk in this, or does it have the bouncy bottom in it?
You walk.
Okay, and I didn't know if you guys were gonna be in there it was your bounce house, and you guys were gonna be exercising in there, so, okay.
Well, kind of the cool thing with this is it is ADA compliant, so we don't have to have kids on the sideline watching. Every kid can come in and
Yep.
get the same thing that all of them are getting, so.
That's terrific.
Well, I thank Karen for getting like $5,000 towards this.
6.
6?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, thank you
one of the
very much for your hard work,
insurances
Karen.
Candy Prater is Farmers, not State Farm, but
She's Farmers Insurance?
Farmers, yeah, it's kind of a,
Oh, yeah.
but,
Have farm in it.
Hey, farm, yeah.
Well, hopefully we didn't make her mad, she pulled her 500.
Yeah.
We corrected that, so.
Do we have any more discussion on the topic? Do we have a motion?
Well, I never thought I'd make a motion on this either, so I mean. But I would like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the inflatable firehouse from Boulder Blimp Company in the amount of $9,100.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Segrist, a second by Commissioner Linenbroker to approve the purchase of an inflatable firehouse from Boulder Blimp Company in the amount of $9,100. Is there any more discussion on the item? All in favor? Vote passes 5-0. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Cody.
guys.
Karen, thank you very much for your hard work, and sincere thank yous to the Rundell Foundation, Candy Prater with Farmer Insurance, and Rick Prater Air Products for your generous donations to help us accomplish the product. Moving on, we have comments from city staff. Good evening, Skeety.
Good evening. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, it's time again to talk about our year in review. That 2020 is over. We ended the year with 1,454 calls, which the year prior we were at 1,601. So we had a little bit of a drop, but I kind of attribute that to, well, with COVID, people not going out doing things, less injuries. It still averages out to 4 calls per day. The year prior was 4.5 calls per day, so we're still doing the same things. For 2020, it comes up to 121 calls a month. So we're staying pretty busy. We did have a almost $7 million loss, but you have to take into consideration $1 million of that was on one call, and that was the paint striper down there at Tooten Totem. That vehicle alone was $1 million. So if you take that away, we're right on track. $700,000. That's what we've been averaging. We were up a little bit on civilian casualties, which that's anybody that is injured from a fire, and we were up 3 from the year prior. Our training in pub ed was way down. Cody could not get into the schools. We stopped doing station tours. During COVID, we weren't having any contact with anybody, so that was pretty much non-existent. Training, we kept our firefighters at their individual stations, and that was really rough on the guys not coming together and working as a team. But we did, with some of the COVID funds, we were able to get Action Training System for our computers, so now the firefighters can, whether it's from their house or from the station, they can log on and they can actually work towards their Fire 1, their Fire 2, driver operator certifications, their EMT. But now we're back to letting them come back together and train together. So it's all starting to finally come back around. I'm not sure how many inspections did you do, or did they do last year, you know, right off the top of your head?
Probably around 800-900.
Okay, so that's 800 or 900 actually going into the building and inspecting or pre-planning the building. One thing that did ramp up, since we couldn't do much anything else, they really hit the hydrants last year and went out and inspected them twice a year and then tested the number of hydrants that we needed to for our ISO rating.
That's
So,
where our main brakes were up this year.
Can't blame us for the
Spiking the line,
But you guys should have your monthly summary. If you guys have any questions about that.
Hey, when did Beaver County start dispatching their own stuff with the new radios? So that might have affected some of your calls.
Actually, what year did we stop responding? 2005?
Oh, I thought we were still like a mutual aid.
We are still mutual aid. I mean, if they need something, we will, but we don't automatic aid to Oklahoma or even out to the county.
Okay. Maybe it's just the ambulance or something.
The ambulance still responds.
Okay. I thought that might have cost you
Nah.
a little bit, but, okay.
Any other questions?
Ski, you guys did a terrific job this year. It was a terrible year overall for pretty much any kind of organization we were in. And in the 3 years I've been a commissioner, I've never had a single complaint about anybody in your department. You guys have been doing an excellent job, so thank you very much for your hard work.
I will tell you, we are still down 3 firefighters. We're just not having a whole lot of good luck getting quality apps. What we'd really like is for at least some kind of training. The big one is the EMT. It takes about six months for somebody to go through the EMT class, and that's every third day for 4 hours a day over in Meade. And that's just classroom. You still have the drive over and the drive back, so it's quite a commitment. And once we get them here, we'd like to keep them here. But unfortunately, bigger departments, higher paying departments, they attract them and off they go. So we started the year, we were down 3, and we ended the year down 3. We did have some come and go in between there, but hopefully we can get some quality apps and start
What
getting
can
some
we
people
do
out.
to get some people to look at, or
I'm sorry?
what can we do to get some people to stay in Liberal or look at Liberal?
Figure a way to get more money to pay you more.
I was gonna say, yeah, if we could figure out
Money
a way to
talks.
pay, but
Yeah, money does talk.
yes, it does.
I know of at least, 3 or 4 in the last couple of years that we've lost to the north and northeast over money, so.
Yeah.
I did a recruitment and retention study in my CPM class 12 years ago. And after 12 years of experience, I still don't know the magic answer to that.
Yeah, I don't think there really is one. I think the hard thing is we're always going to face higher pay ranges for larger class 1 cities that naturally have a higher budget and a higher amount to be able to pay. So, that's just going to be something that we have to kind of work our way through.
We're not something alone out there in western Kansas, no one.
Yeah. Guys like you, hometown guys, they're gonna stay here,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
You know.
And we have been very fortunate to attract a couple of guys that, one came from Wichita and one's from the Hugoton area. The one from Wichita was only gonna be here for a couple of years, and he really liked it here. He got married, had kids, and he's making his way up through the ranks
It's
as an
terrific.
officer, so.
Got some roots now.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And one other thing I didn't mention, was it back in November? We went through our ISO review, that's every 5 years?
Yes, I got an email from her today.
Did you?
It was submitted on November 20th for results, and she said it'll be 3 to 6 months before we hear the answer.
Okay.
We're coming up on the 3-month mark.
I'd assume that things are looking fairly optimistic to maintain the same ISO rating or possibly improve
We
them.
will not lose our ISO, and I don't know that we'll gain any. And I say that simply because due to the changes at the airport with the backup apparatus, we had to take the reserve pumper out of there, so now we didn't get credit for having a fire engine out there. So that hurt our coverage a little bit. So looking back to 2016, that makes me glad that we didn't just sneak into a class 2 ISO by about 1/10 of a point. Because we would have tumbled back, and I'd have to be standing there telling you, explaining why we fell in our ISO.
Yeah.
I feel like we're at 79 points out of 80. 80 is a 2. We're at 79. We're a solid 3. We're gonna be a 3 for a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd rather be a solid and consistent steady 3 than worry about fluctuating between 2 and 3 on a consistent basis. Yes, sir.
As Kelly and I talked today, short of buying apparatus and putting 6 more firefighters on and spreading out the coverage, and then eventually having another station to make sure we're completely covered and a backup aerial, we're probably not gonna see much of an increase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much,
Good
Ski.
job.
Thank you, Chief. Any other city staff? Moving on to the city manager's report.
Okay, just to advise everybody, the work we approved for South Middle School Rec Center, they have started on it, and Cody's still here. We have discovered an issue. We probably will not have to extend that firewall, but we will have to, Pete is trying to get a hold of the architect, because the original code footprint showed that was a firewall. Well, it really wasn't, it was only a single layer. So we're gonna look at that. That will save us some money. But the work has started to carpet, and the demolition has happened in the library. So when Pete gets that drawn out, we will go out for bids on the commission chambers, and hopefully before summer really gets started, we'll have a new home for you.
Fantastic.
And in addition to the rec center, we are making a move. The robotics program will be moving to the rec center. Matt is excited, and that will give Bob an extra room so he can expand his 3D printing and his aeronautical stuff. So he's excited about it, and I think will help us draw better interest, because obviously you have a younger crowd that would be interested in the robotics program, go to the rec center, then you do the air museum. So we're hoping to really build the robotics program over there. That gives us a real nice non-athletic activity, you know, which is one of the things we've been asked for, you know. And of course, me personally, I relate recreation to physical activity, but I guess if it's still doing things, so.
Well, it's an intellectual sport.
Yeah. And then also Jose took off on me. Jose has taken my old position as utilities director, and that's primarily to help Kenny out on the administrative side, because the internet at the wastewater plant is point to point. It only works half the time, and we will be coming with, Tim isn't here, is he? Anyway, Tim's putting together a quote, because we need to get some software and some hardware, because the software program they were using to monitor their line cleaning, it's obsolete. And so instead, they just got a stack of papers. And so we're looking at bringing that to you in the near future. And hopefully, and Jose has an administrative assistant, so he can help out and you know, work more on the training, the administrative side. And Kenny, I can't think anybody I'd rather have running that old raggedy plant than Kenny, myself included. I wouldn't want part of it, because Kenny has a knack for keeping that junk running and keeping our costs down. So it's not a slap at Kenny, it's trying to help him and let him concentrate on keeping that thing running. And
He had 2 jobs for a while.
yeah. So thank Jose, he was willing to step up and take that responsibility.
Well, and congratulations to Jose for the promotion.
Yeah. I docked his pay. Because he's going to be at the water last. No. And then staff. Okay, we had a department head meeting now, so I've got to handle this different now. We don't need to be told thanks for doing a great job, because that's our job, is to do a good job. So I'm really proud of our staff for you know, acknowledging, hey, we don't need a but I do. I think, so I'm grateful for the job they do. There, I didn't thank them. I'm grateful for the job that our staff does. And I do think they need to be recognized for the job they do. But I'm also really proud of them for the fact that says you guys don't need to do that. And so that tells you what kind of people we have working for us.
Absolutely.
And I think that should be everything I have, unless,
Special meeting date,
oh,
HR. I didn't know if the commission wanted to go ahead and set a meeting date for a special meeting work session with HR on the policy manual. I know that was brought up. I don't know if you guys want to decide on that, or just let me know what dates work, but if you guys want to decide today, that's something that will be coming up.
No, thank you very much for bringing that up, Alicia. Do we want to go ahead and solidify a date for the special meeting or conversation about the city's upcoming policy manual changes?
Are we gonna do it this month, or are we gonna get into February?
Well, I know that they were looking at already wanting to implement that, in this meeting, and so since we've deferred it, I would suggest that we try to fit in that special meeting before the next commission meeting so that we don't hold up the entire project.
And again, that's one of these, this is a courtesy. We want the commission in on what staff is doing, and we definitely want your input if you disagree with something.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, the policy manual's definitely not something you have to make a motion and approve, but
Yeah, it's
more or
under
less
the-
a consensus that it looks good to us, or we need to add this or add that or delete this.
Yeah, it's under the purview of the city manager for approval, but we definitely appreciate the opportunity to be able to have insight into it. Looking at this week, we have the 27th through the 29th, or the 1st through 5th next week that we could fit it in before the next meeting. Is there any day that's more convenient or unavailable for anybody that we could look at putting this on?
We had council of governments, that'd be in the morning though, right?
That's 7 o'clock on the 28th.
28, yeah.
Yeah, see, you just go from there to here.
Yeah.
I'm probably unavailable on Thursday and Friday, but the temperature's gonna be good enough to go pour concrete, so I'll be out of town.
No problem. Do we want to aim at first part of next week, first or second?
How about the second?
The second? Okay. We want to hit this in the afternoon or the evening? Morning? Anytime?
Anytime works with me.
The time's in a hat, pull one. What time would be more applicable for, because we would definitely need Cal, Alicia, and HR director and staff in there. So what time's going to be most applicable on Tuesday the 2nd for city staff?
Just a second.
No problem.
She's gonna see what, I don't think I have anything.
Probably 5:30 after they're off work.
Yeah. I hate to keep city
Does Lynn
staff
have
here
to
after
be
they're
here?
off work.
Are you
but-
gonna be here, Lynn?
I can be here most of the time that day.
Okay,
So
I
if
say, I
you want
think
me to be
maybe
there, I'd be
your
happy to.
time, they'll be here during the day, so 10 o'clock,
Anytime during the day.
10 o'clock in
You
the
want to
morning.
aim at 10 o'clock in the morning?
10?
Will that work for everyone?
For
Where, here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, and we should be able to, I mean, if we need to, we can come out here, but we should be able to set up in there just for a work session.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and set the special meeting to discuss the city's policy manual changes for Tuesday, February 2nd at 10 o'clock a.m. at City Hall.
Will that be considered a special meeting or work session? It
Doesn't matter what you call it.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it has to be open to the public either way, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what we call it. And there's not going to be any commission action take place in it, more than likely. So, yeah, we'll just call it a special meeting, and then that way we're clear on all fronts.
Okay.
Perfect. And just please make sure that we send out the proper legal notice to all of the media for that bad boy. Cal, did you have anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Do we have any items from citizens? Nope. And no items from groups, I'm assuming? Okay. Moving on to items from commissioners, and I'm going to kick it to the end of the table to Commissioner Segrist to start us off.
Well, hold on, since I thought she was gonna be here.
Uh-huh. Cheryl from KSCB?
Yeah.
I know we asked her to be at the next meeting.
Oh, the next
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so, but we might want to discuss this in our special meeting on some of the rules. Can we do that? Or does it need to be?
Well, did we ask her to come so she could talk to us about this specifically, I assume? and what
Yeah,
she
about the
wanted
way
to
that the
do?
event would be set up, which is going to change everything about the way we plan it.
Yeah, I mean, because, quite frankly, based on commission decision that we're not renting out any of our facilities for profits, I'm thinking, and Matt's left me too, but I'm thinking we make this more like a joint, venture, KSCB/rec department, home show type thing. And we don't necessarily get into the rental business, but that's you guys' decision, and
I think a good plan would be for everyone to be able to review that, and then we can have it as an agenda item next meeting when she'll actually be here to discuss what she's wanting.
Yes, sir. I think that's the correct way that we should go about it. Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right, Connie, if you'd like to open us up on items from commissioners.
Okay, well, I too want to thank the Rundale Foundation and Candy Prater with Farmers Insurance and Rick Prater with Air Products for their donation to the fire department. I think this bouncy house that they're going to purchase sounds like a good investment, and it'll be a good advertisement for the fire department. And you said we're not supposed to thank people, but I can't resist. I just have to say this. I just want to thank each and every person that works for the city. I thank you for coming to your job and doing your job, and I sincerely do thank you. So there.
So there.
And that's all I have, because I think everybody's wanting to get to listen to a ball game, aren't they?
There's a ball game?
tonight.
Yeah.
What ball game?
Hey, don't worry, your daughter's getting older.
Yes, she is.
You'll
I'll be
there
involved with
soon.
those very soon.
Anything else?
That's all.
That's it? All right, guys, I want to know if we can get an inflatable fire truck to go with it. Because at that price, I mean, it's a steal. You know.
Yes, indeed.
Or at least could we park the fire truck in the inflatable firehouse? Save some money.
There you go.
So, no, I don't have anything.
I guess I don't have, I guess I want to thank staff for not like bringing the football in and spiking it when they just do their job.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we thank them for doing their job anyway.
Yeah.
I noticed today that the sign was up for the South Middle School, or our rec center, not South.
I know it.
I was gonna say, I've been told that I need to stop calling it
Yeah.
South Middle School as well.
That's
Yeah.
looking good, and I seen the roll-off dumpster out there, so. But my question is, if we can do something about, Grant Street is congested now, and you gotta kinda weave in and out of there, and we need to push up the parking lot, if Matt was here to.
Pete will be here Thursday, and we'll discuss that more.
It's
And
a
like I
good
said,
problem,
I'll be
but-
honest, I've mentioned the gym and parking before, but I mean, that was a school. I mean, I never, that had volleyball, basketball, I mean, it had activities there. I would have never dreamed that parking was gonna become one of our #1 issues, and to me, that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than the fact Chris tells me I don't have any money to pay for parking, but.
I think it might be a safety issue, cause it's so narrow path and
Yeah.
so much parking there, that little kids are running out, and, we don't want somebody to get hurt over the deal. So
Yeah,
maybe it
I
could
mean,
be
we
a
need to
safety.
definitely, and I'll get with.
It's a
Pete.
good problem, we're having that many
Yeah.
people.
And we'll address it as a public safety issue, and I don't know, I mean, maybe I can get with Stoppel or the other guy, and as we're tearing out Second Street, we can crush that concrete, and maybe we start out with just concrete parking.
Yeah.
But either way, we'll have to do some dirt work. There'll be some cost involved, but obviously we don't have any option to go in there and put a concrete or asphalt parking lot right off the bat, unless somebody just wants to donate us a huge pocket full of money.
I'm
And
sure
we're
that
open to
apartment complex and some of them duplexes around there are filling the parking, certain times, but.
Yeah, and I've even noticed that even for the adult activities, that it gets pretty congested.
Yeah, but it's a good thing to have, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have tonight.
Okay, so just to remind the public, per resolution and the renewal thereof of resolution number 2348, that means for the next 45 days, the mask ordinance that we had in effect is going to continue to be in effect. The main group of complaints that I received this last week was after we got our adult prom approved to be able to have it at the Fairfield Convention Center. A lot of people were upset that we don't have the rental facilities open. So just want to tell people we're still going off of the county and the higher taxing entities on that we, when they update what their mass gathering limitations are, we'll react appropriately. So be patient with us on that. I'm sure things are kind of rapidly changing now with the COVID protocols, and so I'm sure that that'll change in the next couple upcoming meetings. Outside of that, yeah, and this is something that over the last 3 years I actually haven't done a lot at the end of meetings, but yes, thank you very much to all the city staff. Because you guys are the rock stars that end up getting everything done, and we get to take a lot of credit for that, but in all reality, you guys are the ones being able to get everything that we've been able to do as a city accomplished. So thank you guys very much for that. And I'm very glad that you guys, had your department head meeting without commissioner interference to be able to kind of be able to have some discussions that I think are a lot more difficult than it's to have when you have commissioners in the room. Outside of that, just continue reaching out to all of us commissioners. Encourage the public to remember that all of our phone numbers are available on the city website, on social media. And so try to make sure that you're reaching out to us by phone. There's a lot of situations inside the city that we're not made aware of until somebody brings up the topic for discussion. So definitely feel free to reach out and keep an open line of communication with your leadership. And that is all I have.
I got something to add talking about that.
Yes, sir.
We had some potholes that were taken care of quickly by Chewy that were caused by weather and heaving, and and he was on them. And one's over here on the alley on behind Star. What is that? Starlight Liquor. And another one over by Billy's on that street, Lilac, and it was a huge hole, and he was on it and took care of it.
And that's
so.
the other thing is, we do appreciate the input, letting us know, because we don't have staff that drives the streets every day. Our alleys looking for it. I mean, our alleys actually, as Macario and his crew, because they do drive the alleys on a weekly basis to pick up trash. So they are reporting back to Chewy what alleys are bad. But again, we need input. We don't necessarily know where a pothole, because they pop up sometimes overnight. So we do appreciate that input.
Absolutely.
When did our 45 days start ticking?
So that started
Today.
ticking the moment we
Right.
voted that in today.
Oh, okay. I thought it was back when it actually expired. And it was working.
No, so there was a short gap there in between the meetings, which is why we had to have it put on this agenda, where it technically wasn't in effect. But now that it was revoted back in, then it takes effect as of today.
By the time our adult prom will be into 3 weeks, maybe. Or what do you say? Let's see. It's
No, the adult prom will take place while this ordinance is still in effect.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
We'll
masquerade.
still be into the mask deal, but we'll be.
Well, Matt requires masking and social distance in all his events.
Yeah.
And I've got to believe that they've disinfected real well, and as far as I know, his events have not been associated to any cluster yet.
Absolutely.
Usually you're with your wife or whatever, so you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should say thank you very much to the Seward County Commission for hearing Rana from the Rec Department and myself and allowing us the opportunity to try to safely host this event. It's a privilege to be able to start to try to get back to hosting community events as an organization of the city. So thank you guys very much for working with us on that and providing us guidance. Moving on to item number 20, can we get approval of the vouchers, please?
I'd like to make a motion, we approve the vouchers in the amount of $3,310,914.11.
Second.
We have a nomination by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Linnenbroker to approve the vouchers in the amount of $3,310,914.11. All in favor? Vouchers passed 5-0. Meeting is adjourned.